Well, that must be our cue for our catastrophic global warming alert update. And boy, I am loaded for you today. 888-589-8840. If you want to join the conversation, give a little bit of content this segment, then we'll go to phone calls. Catastrophic global warming update. Alaska has experienced the shortest summer on record. That's Alaska. Mount Rainier has only been snow-free for 3 months. They had a snowstorm on May 22nd and then another snowstorm on September 29th. So 4 months between snowstorms, only 3 months between the melting of the snow in the summer and the brand new snowstorm. Argentina, I mean, this is sad, but it just shows that this whole thing about global warming is a complete hoax and a myth. 2,200 cattle died in a snowstorm in Argentina. Crystal Mountain Resort, this is the northeast corner of Mount Rainier National Park, they having a world record opening day. Their earliest day they've ever opened before, November 4, 2005. Now they are opening October 4, 2013. They beat their earliest day record by an entire month. Got a story here this morning, 17 inches of snow in Oregon on Mount Hood. 17 inches of snow, ladies and gentlemen, in Oregon on October 4th. You know, and they say, well, it's not global warming. It's just going to be extreme weather. That's what we're going to see. They got away from the global warming thing and us incinerating. Although CBS, if you can believe it, CBS did a story the other day where they said, you know, based on this UN report, it is possible that and this is CBS News, it is possible that air temperatures could go up by 212 degrees. I'm looking at a screenshot from CBS. Potential air temperatures up 212 degrees. That would incinerate everything on the surface of the globe, and they accuse us of being the people that are anti-science. With the extreme weather part, we have moved past the three-quarter point of the Atlantic hurricane season, which has been the quietest since 1994, the fifth slowest since 1950. So compared to historical records, the 2013 Atlantic hurricane season is 71% below normal. And remember, they said, well, yeah, it's not global warming. It's going to be all this extreme weather, more tornadoes, more hurricanes, 71% below normal this year. And I don't know if you heard about this. Tesla sells this electric car. These are just coal-powered cars, ladies and gentlemen, because they're powered by electricity. Where does electricity come from? It comes from burning coal. These are coal-powered cars. $70,000 for a Tesla. The thing burst into flames on the roadway the other day. One of them just burst into flames. And because of the batteries, they admitted today that the fire started in the battery compartment. This lithium-ion battery technology, you get all these lithium-ion batteries in close proximity to each other. They can generate a runaway thermal thing, and you can't control it. You can't stop it. It's going to ignite everything within reach. And you know where the battery compartment is in a Tesla? It's underneath the passenger compartment. You are literally sitting on a fire starter. You are sitting on a combustible source of fuel that could burst into flames at any moment without any warning. And Tesla's stock dropped, let's see, it fell $12 in one day, the biggest one-day decline since the middle of the summer. And then there's a solar firm, Abound Solar. I think this is in Nevada, No, this is northern Colorado. This Abound Solar, they fleeced the taxpayers for $70 million. We're going to lose $40 to $60 million on this because of the bankruptcy. It went bankrupt. They've abandoned the place, and now apparently it's going to cost us another $4 million just to clean it up because of what they left behind, all of the toxic chemicals and stuff that they left behind. And I hate to break it to you, and then we'll go back to the phones. I hate to break it to you, but dolphin intelligence, we're told, may be overrated. I'm looking at a story here from Der Spiegel, German publication. talking about dolphins. And it turns out that chickens, according to biologist Justin Gregg, chickens may be as smart as dolphins. Goldfish actually may be smarter than dolphins because this guy says, look, you put goldfish in a bowl, they'll try to jump out. Dolphins, they capture in nets. They don't do anything. They just sit there and allow themselves to be taken. And so he says, look, the idea of exceptionally intelligent dolphins is a myth. And then he says even yellow mealworms are as smart as dolphins. So dolphins aren't any smarter than chickens. They're dumber than goldfish, and they've got the intelligence level of yellow mealworms. Sorry to burst your bubble. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Sue in Atlanta, Texas. Sue, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Wanted to share a few things with you today, and I appreciate you so much. I wanted to tell you that about closing the World War II Memorial.
Uh-huh.
I really think a good reason would be that is the generation that fought the war and won our freedom. And I know that's got to be a thorn for some people.
Yeah.
And the other thing, my husband is retired military, and we just left the base a little bit ago, and it appears that our commissary is closed as long as there's a shutdown. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, well, we talked about this yesterday, and it's intriguing to get that confirmation. All the grocery stores, commissaries, they've all been closed. And the TV signal for NFL games, Major League Baseball, has been cut off to our soldiers overseas. The World War II Memorial being barricaded, the barricades wired together so veterans can't get through in their wheelchairs. But President Obama, he still got his weekend retreat at Camp David. He still got his golf course at Andrews Air Force Base, which is on a military base, making sure that those military installations stay open. All right. Well, listen, thank you for the call, Sue. That's just kind of sad confirmation of everything that we have been saying. Let's go to Brian in Risen, Arkansas. Brian, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Good morning. Good afternoon, Brian. I've been reading about all this stuff that's going on with legislature in Washington and all that, and it just seems like, from what I understand, the House, they approved all the money for everything except Obamacare. So my thing is, why is everything shutting down? There's no sense in it. They approved the money. They just didn't want Obamacare to have the money to do that.
Yeah.
And, if that's the case, they're doing their part. There's one thing that they don't agree with, and that's understandable. I mean, disagreements are disagreements. Work it out. There's no sense in shutting down memorials and military, grocery stores and this and that. There's no sense in it. It's getting to the point to where you start thinking, well, is it a good idea to go ahead and start a process of trying to get Obama out of there and impeach him? I mean, it's going to get to the point to where it's affecting the economy and, maybe people's jobs other than, government jobs. And, it's getting to that point, what do we do?
Yeah. Well, and I'm afraid what we've got to do is what we can do, Brian, is we can keep trying to put some starch in the collar of the Republicans. Now, we've got distressing news that John Boehner apparently has already sold out. He's going to raise the debt ceiling. He's already signaled he's going to do that. So he's given away the store. When you tell your opponent at the negotiating table that you're going to give him what he wants before negotiations have even begun, there's absolutely no hope that you're going to be able to get any concessions out of Obama. And President Obama has made it clear that he is not in a negotiating mood. Let's grab clip number 8 if we can, Rob. This is President Obama talking yesterday. And John Boehner is capitulating to this. He's throwing in the towel. He's running up the white flag. He's folding like a cheap Bedouin tent in a stiff desert breeze because he's telling his fellow Republicans, we are going to raise the debt ceiling. And John Boehner has actually said, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to do this over the protests of Republicans in the House. Even if he doesn't have a majority of Republicans in favor of raising the debt ceiling, he's going to go ahead and do it. He's going to rely on Democrats to raise the debt ceiling. So John Boehner really functionally is now serving as the head of the Democratic caucus in the House of Representatives. Here is President Obama, clip 8.
You know, the United States is the center of the world economy, so if we screw up, everybody gets screwed up. The whole world will have problems, which is why generally nobody's ever thought to actually threaten not to pay our bills. It would be the height of irresponsibility. And that's why I've said this before. I'm going to repeat it. There will be no negotiations over this. The American people are not pawns in some political game. You don't get to demand some ransom in exchange for keeping the government running. You don't get to demand ransom in exchange for keeping the economy running. You don't get to demand ransom for doing your most basic job.
All right, so President Obama, we are not going to negotiate, period. John Boehner says, well, you don't need to. I've already surrendered. I've thrown in the towel. I'm not even going to fight you. We're going to do it your way. Let's grab clip number 4, Ralph, if we can, before we go to the break. This is Randy Neugebauer. He is a congressman from the 19th District in the state of Texas, and he actually confronted a park ranger at the World War II Memorial Wednesday, and here's how their exchange went. This is Randy Neugebauer, a congressman, his exchange with a park ranger trying to keep 91-year-old veterans in wheelchairs from getting to this memorial.
It's difficult. Well, it should be difficult.
It is difficult. I'm sorry, sir.
Park Service should be ashamed of themselves.
I'm not ashamed.
Well, you should be.
I'm not in terms of it being a no-cost memorial. It doesn't cost any money for people to come in here.
Mr. Reed.
This woman is doing her job just like me. I'm a 30-year federal veteran. I'm out of work.
Well, the reason you are is Mr. Reed is...
No, it's because the government won't do its job and pass a budget.
The House did their job. They passed appropriations.
So that's it's hard to pick up the audio there because it was sort of internet quality. But Neugebauer said to this park ranger, how do you look at them? How do you look at these veterans? And how do you deny them access? And she said, well, it's difficult. I'm sorry. And he says the Park Service should be ashamed of themselves blocking veterans from the World War II Memorial. She says, I'm not ashamed. And Representative Neugebauer says, well, you should be. And he is exactly right. Focal Point in the AFR Talk, back in 2.